From before dawn, Denise Carter had already been awake. The little kitchen light glowed over chipped counters, a single bulb casting long shadows across unpaid bills and crumpled papers. She stirred the cold oatmeal for breakfast, balancing Marcus's school uniform on a chair, and glanced at the clock, 5:28 a.m. Her shift at the nursing home began at 7. She dropped Marcus off at his bus stop first. Though he wasn't riding a bus that day, she'd explained to him that she had something to do, something important. She wanted him to dress sharp, eyes clear. He looked like a boy who carried the weight of things nobody else saw. Marcus came into the kitchen quietly, rubbing sleep from his eyes. He was small for his age, lanky, with tight coils of hair that flared out at the edges. He held his lunch bag like a treasure. "Morning, Mama," he whispered. He tried not to wake his baby sister, asleep 2 rooms away. Denise pulled her son in close, tugged his collar straight, kissed his temple. "You ready?" she asked in a hushed voice. He nodded. She forced a smile that morning, though the tremor inside her chest never stopped. She drove them through the dark, past shuttered storefronts and streetlights flickering. The roads were nearly empty. Marcus sat quietly, eyes forward, gloved hands clasped in his lap. He trusted her. She drove past a mural on a brick wall, a black child reaching toward the sky. She swallowed hard. It seemed to mock the half-broken system, proclaiming hope while the world kept telling her son to slow down, to lower his expectations, to stay in his lane. That mural, she thought, was a challenge. She'd better make sure Marcus had the wings to fly beyond it. When they arrived at the school district offices, the morning air was brittle. They walked through glass doors, Denise's steps measured but her heart hammering like a war drum. She clutched the folder of papers, test scores, psychologist evaluations, letters from tutors, emails she had collected over months. She entered the waiting area. She and Marcus sat side by side on straight plastic chairs, facing a wall of plaques, mission statements, and politely framed photographs of smiling principals and superintendent meetings. It felt sterile, antiseptic. It felt impossible. After a while, an assistant showed them into Principal Wexler's office. He sat behind a polished desk, appraising them over steepled fingers. One wall behind him held photos of children in caps and gowns. Another held certificates of excellence and leader in education plaques. He looked the way he always did, crisp suit, expensive shoes, his air-conditioned calm. He offered them a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "Miss Carter, thank you for coming," Wexler said, gesturing to a chair for her, another for Marcus. She sat. Marcus sat. She set the folder on her lap, edge trembling. She began, voice steady. "Principal Wexler, thank you for your time. I have brought Marcus's recent test results, his tutor's evaluations, and my concerns about the current placement he is in. He has been in a classroom where he is routinely ignored. Teachers do not call on him. He raises his hand, but is skipped over. He sits in the furthest corner, isolated. The pace is slow. The expectations are low. I believe he should be transferred to the accelerated math program, and I have proof he can handle it." She slid out the test sheets, pointing to answers on algebraic expressions, to logic puzzles, to problem sets far above grade level. Marcus's writing was neat but cautious. There were scratches through wrong attempts, then corrections done in pencil. You could see the effort. You could see brilliance. But Wexler did not look at the papers long that he cleared his throat. "Miss Carter, I understand your concern. We want all children to succeed. However, the standards are fixed. The criteria for the accelerated program are rigid. Unfortunately, your son does not currently meet the threshold." He tapped the corner of a printed rubric. "We have to adhere to policy. I'm sorry, but we cannot move him." Denise felt heat rise in her throat. She swallowed. "Sir, with all respect, those criteria are arbitrary. He meets them by tutoring standards, by his test scores, by his own insistence. You are judging him based on what you think he is, not on what he shows you. Please, reconsider." Wexler's lips thinned. He leaned back. "I'm sorry. That decision is final." He picked up a file and glanced at Marcus. "Your son can remain in his current class. That is all. Next case." His voice was clipped. Marcus looked down, his hands twisting. Denise stood. She asked, "You're refusing to even hear the rest of my evidence?" Wexler didn't rise. He shook his head. "That's final." She closed the folder hard, quiet rage blazing in her chest. they left the office. As they exited the district building, the world outside seemed colder, emptier. Marcus's face was blank, but her heart broke for him. She walked him to school, hands in her pockets, lips trembling. She hated that he had to walk in, shoulders down, head lowered. Inside the classroom, Marcus sat at the back, looking at the blackboard, stifling tears. Denise slipped away and drove to her shift at the nursing home. She clocked in, but her hands shook. She administered medications, changed bedsheets, and supported patients. All day she moved through round after round of grief and relief, of dignity stolen and regained. She whispered to herself, "I will not lose you. I will not let them decide your worth. I will fight." After her shift, she returned to the school district building. She requested a meeting with the Board of Education. They gave her a date a week later. She gathered everything: her folder, an audio recorder, a camera, prepared to document every moment. She called a local radio show, a local journalist. She explained her story, a mother fighting for her son's education in a system that wanted to see him invisible. The night before the board meeting, she sat in her small living room. Marcus asleep on the couch with his math workbook splayed open over him, a pencil in his hand still. She sat beside him, breathing him in. She whispered, "Tomorrow, they will see you." He murmured in his sleep. She held him tight. She could taste the fear in her bones. The stakes were enormous. Her son's future, his confidence, his dignity. But she refused to back down. On the morning of the meeting, she dressed Marcus in his nicest outfit: white shirt, blue tie, pants pressed. She polished his shoes. He looked smaller than she knew he was, but majestic anyway. She carried the folder, the recorder, and the pamphlets she had printed. They arrived early at the auditorium where the school board convened. Parents, local journalists, and a few activists gathered. The walls were gray, the lights too bright. The board members sat high on a dais. The audience faced them, quiet. The board president called the meeting to order. Denise walked to the microphone. She introduced herself, then introduced Marcus, laid out their journey. She described the dismissals by teachers, the silent skipping of his hand, the infantilization, the mocking tone of principals. She played an audio clip from her meeting with Wexler where he said, "Your son isn't what we'd call exceptional." The room shifted. A few gasps. The board members fucked their lips. She laid out the documented scores, the tutor letters, the emotional impact, the humiliation, the pain, the stifled ambition. She called for Marcus's placement to be upgraded and for an independent evaluation and for Wexler's dismissal. She paused, heart pounding, then said, "If you continue to turn away from the evidence before you, history will record that you sided with prejudice over promise." Silence. A board member attempted to interrupt, but the audience murmured. The journalist from the local paper stood and walked to the microphone. He said, "I'd like to report this. What you have done today is brave." Cameras clicked. The audience leaned forward. Denise's voice cracked, but she went on. She concluded, "I don't want revenge. I want justice. I want my son to be seen, and I want you to change the system so no other child must fight this way." She stepped back, tears in her eyes. Marcus stood stiff beside her. Then a board member picked up. "Ms. Carter, we will take your petition under advisement." The president cleared his throat. "We will convene a special committee and review the evidence." They adjourned. The crowd clapped softly. Denise and Marcus left, their hearts heavy but hopeful. But the fight didn't end there. Over the next 2 days, news spread across social media. The audio clip, the video of Denise and Marcus walking into the meeting, circulated. Comments flooded. Outrage, support, solidarity. Local education advocates offered to help. A nonprofit sent an attorney. An anonymous donor offered to fund a full scholarship for Marcus at a private STEM school. The district felt pressure. The board appointed the review committee immediately and agreed to suspend Wexler pending investigation. The Parent-Teacher Association demanded transparency. The press asked the superintendent tough questions. The walls of silence cracked all at once. One night, Denise received a call. The donor wanted to meet. She doubted at first, but agreed. At a modest cafe, a professional woman approached her. "Ms. Carter?" She nodded. The woman introduced herself, said she was a philanthropist interested in educational equity. The woman told Denise she'd seen the video, read the files, and believed in Marcus's potential. She offered him a full scholarship to a prestigious STEM academy across town, covering tuition, books, living expenses if needed. Denise felt her knees go weak. She thanked her, tears in her eyes. This was beyond anything she expected. The next morning, the district's investigation concluded swiftly. Wexler was found to have consistently marginalized gifted Black students, had violated district policy on student placement, and showed bias in decision-making. The board accepted the report and announced his resignation. Wexler left in disgrace. The press reported it as a scandal. Denise watched on TV as former staffers rallied in disbelief. Parents whispered about the cover-up. Students applauded. Wexler would never again sit behind a desk of power in that district. But that wasn't the end. Because Marcus's story didn't stop at vindication. With the scholarship in hand, he entered the new academy. On his first day, the head of school invited him to present a problem on the board, a complex cryptography challenge. The room was full of students, some polished, some nervous. Marcus stepped forward, voice steady, walked to the board, wrote equations, explained his reasoning. A hush fell. When he finished, there was applause, then murmurs of "Wow, how did he do that?" Denise sat in the audience, chest tight, tears streaming. He stood taller than before, not because he changed, but because the world had begun to see him. Months later, he won a regional math competition. He qualified for national contests. He tutored other students, especially those from underserved neighborhoods. The school awarded him a special recognition. Denise answered press calls. Her voice was firm, not frantic. Fight. Document. Do not believe systems know your worth. The story of her son became a cautionary tale against complacency and a rallying cry for parents, especially mothers, fighting for their children in systems built to overlook them. One evening, Denise sat on the porch with Marcus. The sky was lavender. Cicadas buzzed faintly. Marcus leaned against her. She touched his hair. He said, "Mama, do you remember when they told me I wasn't exceptional?" She nodded, bitterness lingering. He whispered, "I forgive them now, because they made me prove them wrong." She hugged him tight. The weight she had carried for months began to ease. She let tears fall, not of sorrow but of release. Years later, Marcus graduated top of his class, entering a prestigious university on full scholarship. He studied mathematics and computer science. He spoke on panels about educational equity, appearing not as a victim, but as someone who transformed his pain into purpose. He returned to his old neighborhood summers, ran free workshops for kids. He never forgot. Denise watched him rise, never ceasing to believe in him, never ceasing to fight when no one else would. Because she understood something so many forget. Systems are built by people, and people can change. A mother's fight can crack walls, and a child once told he was invisible can become the light that reveals the shape of injustice. The day everything changed was that Thursday before dawn, when Denise refused to walk away. The real change was not only in Wexler's resignation, not only in the scholarship, but in the reordering of perception, from less than to more than, from not exceptional to shining proof of possibility. The system bent, unexpectedly, satisfyingly, to the will of truth. And justice was served. Life lesson: never let authority define your worth. Empower yourself with evidence, speak truth with courage, and fight, not for vengeance, but for recognition. Because when a mother refuses to surrender, she doesn't just change her child's future, she changes the narrative for all who come behind. Like, comment, and subscribe for more stories of justice, truth, and power from behind the scene.